All right, hello everybody, and good morning. Same sort of thing. Good afternoon, good evening, good time zone wherever you are, and good night. No. So today we're going to try something a little bit different. We have today our Secret Santa gift from Jay. Now I understand Jay's not around at the moment, but that's fine. There'll be a VOD for this just in case. But Jay was my absolutely fantastically wonderful Secret Santa this past Christmas, and she sent us this lovely 3D wooden puzzle. So I'm going to give it a go. It's a little bit like, from what I can tell, it looks a little bit like the Metal Earth we were doing, but bigger, physically bigger, which should theoretically be a little bit less fiddly. It's also not, what's the word? Not flexible, as in like the pieces aren't flexible because, you know, wood does that. So therefore, I'm hoping it will work really well. Now, if this is not going well, my backup plan is to play some foundation. So we're going to go with building this first, and we'll see how it goes. It says there's 145 pieces. It said you got to be 14 plus to handle it, so I don't look 14 or under, so we're good. And frankly put, I think my 12-year-old could do it, but that's just because my 12-year-old's really good at stuff like this. Okay, so I'm not quite sure what the little symbol that we've got here. I'll show you this one. Not really sure what that symbol is in the top left. The one on the right probably implies that there would be moving parts if this was like a music box or something. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a little bigger. It says installation difficulty 3, which is probably about the same more or less as my Metal Earth was going to be. So let's just get right on into it and see what this is all about. It says puzzle. I'm a little concerned about the puzzle angle, only insofar as I hope there's some sort of instructions.
O Dark Lord, we show our devotion with a humble offering of blank.
Okay. I'm kind of curious about Fantastic Sherlock Clock's running the command for the card, because there was one on the screen, but that's okay. That's alright. I'm a little confused.
O Dark Lord, we show our devotion with a humble offering of blank. Fantastic Sherlock Fox says,
there we go.
Cookies.
I don't know what happened there. I'm really not sure. Okay, so, plastic wrapped. Ooh, I see electronics. Okay. You can probably see just down in here, we've got wiring. So that'll be interesting when we get down there. Lantern. Design of surface, no design of surface, step 1. I have not looked at this. I've never done one of these before, so you see what I see right now, and you know what I know. So I'm kind of confused. No, that's fine. So for the moderators, just letting you know that when the stream starts, when it was Geek Out or when it was Cards Against Humanity, the system is set up to automatically pull the first one. So if you ever look at it in chat or happen to scroll back in chat, the first one screws up on the black card, but it actually says user's card was blah blah blah. Now that's only because the first one doesn't have an input. So I actually am tempted to change the default to that, because I can. Otherwise it will say user. Okay, so warning to ensure the safety of children during recreation. Please read instructions, yada yada yada. I have sandpaper. Uh-oh. It's going to get to be messy. Okay. Let's put that up to the side. What else we got? Oh, and more cables. Okay. Magnifying glass? Uh-oh. LEDs. Okay, yeah. So it looks like there is instructions. But a lot of instructions. I'm going to fold this the other way so we actually have space. I'm going to try and keep the instruction set stuff to the left of screen, but we'll see what works best for cameras and such. Okay, let's see. Design. Oh, I see. Okay, so there's designs on some of these surfaces. Got it. It looks like I should have punched these pieces out to start with, so I guess that's the first place we're at. I'm assuming that's probably what the sandpaper's for, so I guess we'll shoot the breeze a little bit while I do so. But, Yeah, I guess we will figure it out, right? Wish I could reach the sandpaper. First things first. So we've got a piece with the LED attached. Okay. It's this one. F1. Oh, they've labeled F1, A1, blah, blah, blah. Aha! Okay, there is, on this side, you can see there's actually little markers for the pieces. So we don't need a map sheet like we did with the Metal Earth. That's an improvement. I like that. Okay. So that means I'll have to watch what sheets I'm using. So A1 is the bottom one with the LED. So we'll punch that out gently. Actually, it looks like we may not need the wire right away. Ooh. Okay, so it comes in the box off. I don't know if the thing is already active. Let's see. Boop. Nope. So we're going to need a battery when we're done, I think. The wiring for it, so we don't actually have the LED spot. Or the LED thing. Unless it's this little yellow piece down in the middle. My electronics are like a little weak. Shouldn't be though. That's just like, that's glued down. I don't know. And this says it takes a CR2032 3-volt battery. So I definitely have those, and I can grab those after the build is over. They'd be dumb to keep. Yeah, okay. So they'd be silly to have one in here, but they've got all the electronics for it. That's cool. All right. So should not have done that. It's like Hagrid. I should not have said that. I should not have said that. Should not have done that. There you go. Oh, slide it back. All right. So it says, oh, the LED side up. Okay. And then we need F1, B, C, D, E, F, F1. Okay, you gotta work, you gotta work. That's important. It pays the bills. Bit of an edge there. What I might do with some of these, since I can't always get the paper in to sand an edge, if I need to, I might grab my Metal Earth tools and just clip things from here for now and then. I mean, technically those are metal clips, but if you've got a little teeny bit of a sliver of wood sticking out, I don't think it would be a problem to clip it off. Okay, so those sandwiched together so that this edge fits around the electronics. Come on. Hey. Go, please. Do they sandwich? Yes, they should. Come on. That does fit, sort of. It lines up nicely, actually. They did a great job in the cutting of this one, but the bottom got shoved out just a bit. So I'm trying to get it back in. Alright, so that's that. Step 1. Step 2, we have 6 pieces from sheet B. The design on them, what's A? It's F. Okay, so A, B, C, D, E, F was on the bottom. B has, okay, so B6 is these 6 here. And they go with the design on the outside around these slots down here. There's a whole bunch of little rectangle ones. So far the cuts are really smooth. I mean, we've got a couple of little edges popping here and there, but that's not bad at all. Laser cutting is amazing. I don't know if I'd ever make use of a laser cutter in terms of like enough to ever own one, but laser cut things, every once in a while I come across one that looks really neat. Like this. Works well. Okay, 6. And those appear to go around the outside. Maybe. The right side up and an upside down. shorter ones to the bottom, okay? Uh-huh. Great. Good luck with that. It will go eventually, but that is definitely a serious pressure fit. So we may end up, I hope not, but we may end up at some point getting stuck using like wood glue or something just because I may have snapped something. So we'll be careful here. The best we can do is be careful. There we go. 2. Also possible that some of the holes in the bottom might be slightly off their sizing. Sometimes that happens. Hits. There we go. Try this other side and leave the awful last one that I didn't like the beginning for last. Right. But so far these seem to be relatively tolerant to my it must be pressed all the way in tendencies, which works really well because I'm like that with Lego a lot. If it's not pressed in all the way, I will, I shouldn't say force it, but I will check it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one's got a bit of a lean. Come on. Oh, yeah, it was just me. Come on. There we go. Alright, step 2. We're doing good so far. 3. B1. Okay. B1. And that is, oh, that's got to fit on these. That's going to be interesting. Let's see if we can make that work. Oh. May have to ditch matte and go with black. And my black mouse pad underneath. Not because of anything other than this LED thing on the bottom is, I mean, it's by necessity it sticks out, but that means it makes the rest of it rock while I'm trying to use it. Work it. Actually, got an idea. If I do this face down. Nope, that didn't work. So I couldn't line it up. Start. Come on.
Welcome.
Good evening. How are you doing? Enjoy your dinner. What's on the Creef menu today? Creef household menu. I'm kind of curious. You always have some yummy dishes. I'm trying to put together the wooden lantern gift from Jay that I got for Secret Santa, and it's great, but I'm just having trouble lining up one of the pieces that has to go over a whole bunch of pins, which I'm not sure I'm not sure it's gonna work, but we'll give her a go. I can see what they're doing, but based on how difficult it was to get the first bit on at the beneath, there's one, sort of. Fill it in veggies. Yum! Sounds good. Yum, yum, yum. Yeah, we had good fish and chips last night. Commercial fish and chips, but it was still very good. And Fantastic Sherlock Fox does a good job when he selects stuff like that. I think tonight was supposed to be salmon, but we'll have to see because my daughter's at home under the weather, so we'll... yeah, very under the weather, poor gal. I feel bad for her, but she definitely was not doing that whole eating thing yesterday very well. The opposite of a balloon, basically. Let's say that. And yeah, so I don't know what we're actually going to have today after all. Oh, come on, pieces. I don't want to get stymied by this one and have to switch games already. That's the problem I had a little bit with, oh, there's 2, okay. With some of the Metal Earth puzzles, is they were so fiddly. I spent so much time on a single piece that I couldn't get progress. But also there's tiny, you know? And tiny is not ideal in that sense. This is a bigger scale, so I'm actually looking forward to this one, but it's just getting the holes to line up is a bit difficult. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 are cooperating, 2 are being a pain. Can I? This one looks like it should go. Yeah, okay. But I don't want to snap it. That's the problem. You know, if Fantastic Sherlock Fox had the time in his life to practice for Michelin stars, we would, I mean, yes, we would have great meals, and we do have good meals, but he probably wouldn't be as stressed out as he is lately. It's actually funny. He shows up as our monitor as much as he can, but honestly, he's got a lot on his plate, and sometimes I think we're his sanity break. It's sort of weird. Because if anything, I'm generally not his sanity break offline. I do not contribute to his sanity breaks offline. Not at all. In some cases, I am probably the cause of his insanity at times. But one, being really picky. Come on. If I can get that one in, we can move on. Hey, you. Like it's lined up, but doesn't quite want to fit in. Being wood, of course. I could pull the whole thing off and sand that edge. But I'm wondering if it's just my inability to line it up. You're there. I feel it. Everybody else is sliding down. Just this one. Okay. Aha. Okay. I feel it. It's just being slow. Yep, that's what I figured I'd do. We'll pretend that didn't happen, right? So far, so good? We do all need a release of sorts. At times. I mean, it could be a guy thing, but it could also be just, you know, life. Ah. These are... Oh. Yeah, these pins are tight. I probably should have sanded them. And I'm at one of those, like, little late now moments. So if I use my nails to gently guide it where it seems to be splitting, maybe we'll get it all the way down? Maybe? There we go. This is working better than my Metal Earth did by a good margin, except for the one pin that's just being difficult. Because all the neighboring pins, except that one. Beautiful, by the way. I just need to... Okay, come on, you. Finally, okay. Yay, and I've only snapped it once. That's not bad. And the snap is actually somewhat invisible, so I can fix it later. Alright. Thankfully, that's step 3. Step 4 has legs. Uh-oh. I'm going to pause for a second because I do need to sneeze. Hopefully you guys didn't hear that. A6 has 6 pieces. Okay, B, A. Uh-oh. We've got these little springy leg things.
Howdy.
Good. Thank you. Thank you very much for this, for the, bless you. Good to see you, Gary. What are you working on today? Your world is usually a pretty busy place. So today we're working on a wooden lantern puzzle. Thankfully there's instructions, so it's not a figured out puzzle, that we received from our Secret Santa. It's a fantastic gift, and so much easier to work with than the Metal Earth was. A little bit bigger, but there are times where it takes some pressure. A little bit of everything, a little bit of this, and a little bit of that. It's a very, Fiddler on the Roof reference. It's stuck in my head. If you're not familiar with that musical, no need. But at the end, when they are leaving their village, they start out a song about the village that actually has that line in it. And they start talking about what they leave. It's a bit of a depressing song, but I mean, just out of context, it's kind of funny that that's what your comment reminded me of. But I mean, that's not surprising. I've got anything can remind me of just about anything. Kind of, I wouldn't say a habit. I don't even think it's a skill, it's just a thing. Sometimes what I think of is useful, sometimes it's not. I had still in similar mode, similar space to last week, where sometimes things seem extremely funny to me at the moment, or in the moment, I should say, when it first occurs to me, and then when I share it, after I've shared it, I've suddenly realized, yeah, it wasn't that funny. And so, but, you know, once it's out, you can't take it back, so yeah. Come on. The problem with some of these is laser cuts are great. I love them. As I said, I would definitely make use of laser cut products, but it can make things difficult to remove at times. It's got to be held on by something. So for those of you that have figured out or have seen the little notices that we are using Tangia, just a heads up, for my Tangia, I have not enabled the dungeon thing. I don't know if I will or not. Like, I'm kind of on the fence about it. I'm still sort of taking a look. I'm actually kind of curious about the other services of Tangia, and it's not... There's opportunities, but just beware that I was not able to make it be channel points because the sheer number of opportunities there would mean that I have no channel points available for anything else for redeems at all. Because every time you set up like even a single one, so like a text-to-speech to a particular character or whatever, would actually, if I had that cost channel points, that eats a redeem slot. Which means like none of the stuff that we have annoying me with certain other sounds for free, or more accurately, playing, I shouldn't say playing your own commands, that's a bad one. Telling me to stretch, hydrate, yada yada yada, that kind of stuff, there wouldn't be any space for that. Or, another part of it is you'd end up with, like, there's already a ridiculously long list of redeems to scroll through, and that would just be exponentially worse. So, that's why Tangia is still set up as bits. It's not meant to be asking you guys for money. It's just making the opportunity to use some of their services available. And I'm trying out having someone else tell us a little bit about the ads, just because I was playing with whether or not I could silence the Tangia input as far as I knew and not have it pick up on the microphone. But what it sounds like I'm going to have to do instead is probably duck the microphone to the Tangia stuff and let it go over top. And that's fine. I just haven't got that part set up yet because I'm kind of going, well, yeah, but if it got to be silly things, do I really want to have the mic below that? So it's a matter of decisions, right? Okay, A6, we've got a bunch of those, and they are curvy, stretchy curvy, because they go in the curved slots on the bottom, apparently. There's a design on one side, supposedly. I don't know which side has a design and which side does not. I'm assuming it's the one that looks a little bit wood burnt, is the one they're calling design. So I'm going to put the wood burnt looking part on the outside and we'll see how well that goes. But yeah. Okay. How far do these go in? Nothing. All the way through. Oh, okay. Okay, well. Huh. That's what the puzzle bit's about, is how on earth do you make that happen? Because apparently it's supposed to go all the way through to the top of this edge here, which is going to be, I don't know, Miracle, maybe? Come on. Just don't want to... Oh, there we go. I just don't want to wreck it, you know? If I get that to work on this particular corner, then that may actually solve the bit that I thought I broke earlier. On the other hand, the break may actually make it easier. Oh, there's little holes, okay. The bottom. More difficult. Come on. These two can fit in. Ooh, don't break it. You are challenging. Say 14 plus on the package. Yeah, I'm like 3 times that, but the thing is, well, not quite 3 times that, pretty close. But the thing is that, it'd be a 14-year-old with a one whopper of amount of patience. Okay. But it is working. And frankly, if I do the math, I think we are, numerically, quite a number of steps ahead of where we were with the Metal Earth, so I guess that's a good thing. Hey, it worked. Alright, 1 down. I think I'm going to try this one in opposites, so that if I have to press, I have a better balance on the table. The first part goes in relatively easy. Relative. Come on. Through. Line you up. And this one goes in here. So what we're looking at on the bottom is there's these little holes. And the main section goes through the center portion, and then there's little legs that go in each of the other ones. So you can see the little tips of these go into those little holes. Does not work so well if I don't have the top lined up, so do that, and then I can press, and supposedly the top will go through the upper layer if it's lined up right. That's where I'm flipping it over and trying to see if this is lined up when I press things. Oh, not pressing in very well. Okay. Come on. Wood is weird, I will say that. It's got, in some spots it's really springy, and it's not just the way the piece is designed, but it's actually just the material itself feels springy, which is nice. But it's not super helpful at the moment. Okay, get the little feet in. Can I get the center to wiggle any better? There we go. Slowly but surely. Surely you can't be serious. Well, I am entirely serious, but don't call me Shirley. I've actually had that quite literally. I've been called Shirley once in a blue moon just because people mishear my actual first name. And it's not meant to be a weird spelling or well, okay, it's a weird spelling, but it's not meant to be a weird pronunciation. Like that. Keep getting one side to fit well and the other side not. I'm not quite sure why that is. Is that a good enough? Yeah, it's a good enough. But I may have to return to these and fuss with them later, depending on how flat it sits on the desk. But I've got 2, but at least it sits flat. Okay, and I keep doing this like up near my face and you guys don't get to see anything, so I'm just gonna wriggle my chair in just a bit more. And see if, yeah. There we go. You get to see more of me, which may be a good thing, may be a bad thing. But that way I will be more comfortable working a little further into the system or set up on the desk here. No, this one. Okay. Because I'm fussing with it and you're seeing not a whole ton. Let's just put this and that and move these boards. There we go. That way the shadowing of the microphone. Oh yeah, I forgot. Mic, there's a thing. Good. Excuse the noise. Mic is a thing. There we go. Better? Worse? Meh, we'll figure it out. I'm hitting my monitor on one side, so we'll have to see. Alright, so that's 1, 2, we got 4 more of those. Yay. Okay. Now, those 4. What I'm gonna do for now. 2, 3, 4. There we go. We're working at the piece just below the rock. How's that? Okay. So let's work our way around the outside edge. That one went through fairly well. Let's hope that bodes well for the rest of the top. I'm hoping it's that for some of these ones where it's repeat something all the way around, because of course Lantern has 6 sides, etc., that we will have what do you call it? Things slowly maybe get faster to do as we go around the outside, but I'm not entirely sure when they start doing double-decker stuff like this. Come on. Funny thing when you think about it, that there we go. Oh, at the bottom snapped. You can see it. Oh well. I don't think anybody's going to notice long term. But I broke it quite well. Okay. That's not really a gluable spot. Let's hope the leg stays in. It was a funny thing, and whatever it wasn't funny. Like, not haha funny. And so I forgot whatever it was I was going to say, which is fine. Okay. This particular one was going in well, and then I found out why. Have fun! Have fun, Creef. Fun. Enjoy the meal, and enjoy some good time with your family, and yeah, I said my best. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you very much for popping by, Creef. Very much appreciated. You ever have one of those days where you've tried to put something in and one side wants to go in and then the other side, but never both together? I think it's because my thumb... Maybe I'll try this way. Yeah, okay. My thumb wants to push flat.
Hello there.
Even though my fingers are willing to spread. Hey Mike, how goes? How goes? What are you up to today? I am putting together the Wooden Lantern Secret Santa gift that our fine moderator Jay so kindly gave us. And actually, so far, I would say we are doing really quite well. I keep referencing Metal Earth and saying that this is so far going better than Metal Earth. I wouldn't say it's easier, it's just different. But definitely going better than the Metal Earth stuff. Now, what I mean by that, I'm not actually going to do any, but for scale. This is the bottom section of a wooden lantern we're working on. This is the entire top floor of a house from Middle Earth. With a whole mess of, and you can't even really see them in there, but a little mess of little tiny slots to work with. And the metal is way more flexy. So, yeah, not a great scene. I will build it at some point on my own, and then I will show you guys. But, no preference, or no rush on that. I mean, come on, one of the things that you guys all know I keep saying I'm going to do, and I've never gotten around to, was photographing and posting pictures of all the kits that we've done for LEGO. All the kits we've done on stream for LEGO. And I don't know why I don't get around to it. I think it's when I'm done stream. Sometimes I'm done. Other times I feel like going and playing a game. Then I get lost in the game and, yeah, hours go by. Or I actually have something to do, like as in a real life task. You know, normal people things. There we go. Well, that one went nicely. And then I just never get around to it because, I don't know, maybe I'll do it as a side effect of cleaning my office. That's a possibility. Maybe. Yes. I see where you're going with that, Mike. Oops. Uh-oh. Oh, good. Relief. So there's a little bit, you probably can't see it very well on here, a little bit of a wood burn design on the outside. and the back side is blank by comparison. And I said whoops because I honestly thought I got a few of them in backwards. Not sure you'd really notice, but turns out I didn't, thankfully, get them in backwards because there's no way I'm taking this out and trying again. Because I'm not sure I'd even get it out without breaking it. But it's like a lot of things, it's a bit of a one-way puzzle. I do have to turn things over a little bit to be able to get it in. As I said, my thumb wants to press it flat if I do it the other way around. This way it can sort of fit around the curve of my thumb. Yeah. That's the Discord blah blah blah. Almost every streamer has one, but if you ever find that in my Discord something has seemed to have popped out of nowhere, or that something you thought was being talked about just disappears and doesn't seem to be talked about, it's actually because as part of the Streamcraft 73 community, which means we're all patrons of Dadcraft 73, then if you don't find the chat that you're looking for, it's probably because it either continued or started or something ended up in Dadcraft 73's Discord. So, all that to say, if you're not familiar with the guy, you really should check it out. He's a Minecraft player. I'm usually, well, I shouldn't say usually, I started out as a Minecraft player. I've tried to do a bunch of other things on stream. Some work, some don't. But theoretically, Minecraft is my home, although I can get burnout on it from time to time, which is part of why we do things like Lego and Foundation and other games from time to time, just to keep the Minecraft bit a little more fresh. Apparently, pressing hard gives me dents in my fingers. Okay. But it achieves the effect we want, so let's go with it. So, yeah, I would definitely not be doing this if I had played Heave Ho with the family yesterday, because that game is something else. But yeah, so conversation ends up in Dadcraft's Discord sometimes, and I'm okay with that. If you're a part of that community, you know, sure, go for it. No need to be a part of mine as well. Just a place for a lot of things. I mean, there's things that, you know, feedback and stuff that would get kind of messy if it was just done in direct messages, but also sometimes there's things you want multiple people in on, and so it works a little bit better than just a whole series of direct messages. Come on. We're just about done this step. You can start to see the top edge here disappearing underneath. Now where is... Let's see if... For some reason, the camera app for the brand of the camera I'm running over my shoulder here is... does not like to let us have adjustments. I'm not entirely sure why. Does this one zoom? Yeah, this is the out. In. Ooh, ah. And then drag it this way. Ooh. But the app for the Logitech one will very happily let me do stuff like that. So yeah, there you go. I don't know, Logitech for the win, even though their own cameras were not worthy of being still my favorite overhead cam. So anyway, I got this one because the little accordion bits, like you can see on the bottom, there's the matching cuts on the top, and I'm just about in with those. There we go, close enough. They don't seem to need to stick out a lot at the top, and I'm just wanting these bottom ones in far enough. Not in that they'll stay, but that they'll give a relatively balanced place for this to sit, because that appears to be the bottom of the lantern. Okay, so now, just move this over a little bit. And we're on to step 5, which appears to want D1. Okay, A, B, C, D, B. B1 is this one here, and it wants that sandwich on top of everything. And it doesn't seem to have any markers about patterned or not patterned. And I also realized, you know, these things are great, But I probably should have saved this for stream weekend, which is this coming weekend on Sunday. However, I also have Scout Camp. So what happens with that is when I come back from Scout Camp, very frequently I'm mentally burnt. Or what's the word they're using? Mentally exhausted. Yes, there you go. And so, working on something that takes focus, which this sort of does. There we go. Working on that after a weekend of dealing with scouts and stuff is a little bit rough. So I don't know, we'll have to see. Okay, so we've got a bunch of these rectangular holes all the way through. And the rectangular holes apparently go on the taller portions of these pins from earlier. So I'm really hoping they fit a little bit better, but we'll see. Doesn't seem to be a right side up or upside down, but the D1 is sort of internal. So I think we'll be okay if that part gets seen. Because looking at the picture, which is a little higher up, of the lantern, it looks like this might be 2 of a 3-layer sandwich, so this particular one won't matter as much. So I can put it on, and then the first one goes nicely. Looks like I may have shaved it down by just pressing it from earlier. This, there, and okay. So far, so good. That actually went alarmingly well. Okay, so then, I don't know if I can do this with keyboard or not. That'd be nice if I could. Okay, so number 6 now wants, there's 6 of these things that go around the outside from page B4. What I'm just gonna do is I'm just gonna put my pile of little manual zooming and stuff. It's not anything automatic, just herky-jerky. I'm just gonna flip my pile so that I actually have the letters and numbers easier to see. Okay, F, E, D, C, D, A. Okay. Aha! Ha. But the funny part is, even though they're saying that, there's numbers on the corner. All the pieces are lettered on the various sheets, but there's numbers. I'm like, that's kind of silly. Okay, so we need B6. So B4, and there's 6 of them. Okay, so we're looking at these arched ones. You can see a little B4 written in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's 2 more down here, 5 and 6. So I'll get them punched, and then we'll zoom back in and try and get them installed. Day's looking rough? Ooh, sorry to hear that. How's the weather out where you are? We're supposed to be seeing snow this week. Of course, that's because, I swear it's because I'm going camping in a tent. But, otherwise it's not a big deal at this time of year. I mean, it is March. They say, the old saying I heard growing up, of course, was the in like a lion, out like a lamb. Yeah, well, ours came in like a lamb. So the corollary usually appears to be true. I don't know. We'll have to see, because, yeah. I'm really hoping it's not going to be out like a lion. That would not be ideal. There we go. A lot of, like, fussy stuff with cameras today. And it will hopefully start to focus pretty soon. There we go. Alright, so these 6 go... What the... Oh, into D2, not even into this piece. Okay. B, C... A, B... D... D2. D2. Okay. So D2 is this curvy one down here. Very nice looking scroll work, actually. Or, decorative... Not scroll work, laser cuts, yes. Ooh, I got an edge. Okay, so this has to come off. Now I know why they give us the sandpaper, right? Then we can make sure little things like that look better. I mean, I've got a nail file, so if all those fails, I'll just use that. There we go. Reasonable. Alright, so into the edges of D2. Excuse me. you can see the little rectangular holes, and that's where these pieces are going to go. And I'm assuming, yep, as usual, there's a decorative side. So we've got a decorative side here and a non-decorative side there, and of course they want the decorative on the outside. I have to be cognizant of that. Which way up? Looks like the rectangle bits go down in the other end, which suggests we're gonna have smaller holes further up. Joy. Come on, go through. All right. You know, Mike, it still kind of boggles my mind, your patience level, like your family's patience level on the commute. It sounds funny. I mean, Canada is huge, right? And some of our cities do have ridiculous commutes. And I mean, like Vancouver's got some ones where if you're going to live outside the core, because the core is too ruddy expensive and frankly crowded, that your commute is kind of crazy. But for most of the country, you know, for me to go to my mother-in-law's, for example, is like 45 minutes. Wow. You know, it used to take me 25, I think, to drive to my job when I worked at, quote-unquote, downtown. And I don't know what it takes Fantastic Sherlock Fox in the morning. He's a bit more in the tighter core than I am, or was. So his job might be a little harder to get to just because by the time you count parking and traffic and whatnot. But the length of commute you've got, that just blows my mind. Like, I don't know. It takes me 3.5 hours to drive to the more or less general city / region that some of the other, like my brother or some of our community, like Arch Thunder, lives in. And it's like 3 to 3.5 hours, depending on how fast you drive. And, but yet it sounds like that's much, like I say, a little bit more closer, good grammar. A little bit closer to the type of thing that you use as a daily commute. Like, I can't imagine that. And yet, going the opposite direction, I hope you have a decent car. What I mean by that is not just mechanically decent, but as in comfortable. Because one of the things somebody said to me a while back, they were complaining a little bit about how some of the people in the core portion of our city, they live in the sort of fancy apartments, I guess you could say. They have really ridiculously nice cars. And people are saying, okay, come on. How come you're spending so much on your car and not as much on your house? The whole point, the thought I had with that was because if you're spending the majority of your out of the house day, where you're not in an office building or something, or a lab or whatever, on the road, in your own vehicle just commuting, then it better be, you know, the nicest place you want to spend your life, because that's where you're spending your life. So hopefully the company trucks are half decent on the inside. You know, because sometimes I've known some companies where they actually, I was spoiled. One of the companies I worked for where I did reception was one that had, what do you call it? They had the two sets. They had the local set of trucks, then they had the road trucks, meaning people who had to commute. Okay, so step 7 is just showing me that I did it right. Whee! Honestly, step 6 is telling me to do it. Step 7 says, if it looks like this, you got it right. I will give them credit. Most companies don't give you that. It's like once you've got it, then they show you the next piece. Okay. 8 wants me to put A4, that other piece I thought I was looking at, on top of this. I've known, the interiors and stuff, they're, oops, sorry. If they're not particularly comfy, if they're not particularly feature rich or whatever, then it could be kind of annoying. But I mean, I guess you're right, it is balanced out a fair bit by the company paying for the fuel and so forth. I do like the way it's designed so that if we put all the labels, like the little, what's A4, if we put that facing up, that it still hides it. So like the earlier one we had, D2, is hidden inside, and so you don't actually see it, which is kind of nice, because then they don't end up encouraging you to put things sort of some one side up, some the other side up kind of thing. I'm amused. I was just about to say this song sounds like an old cop show from the 70s, and well, It happens to be titled Chased by Chasers, so yes. Cop shows from the 70s. Okay, there we go. Whoa, oops. I had it fit on one side, then it slipped off, and then... There we go. Come on. Fit, please. This isn't Lego, but... Oops. Okay. Hearing oopses and cracks and stuff. Not good. There we go. On the other hand, I mean, one of the things I do like about this, the tension fit is done so well that it won't come apart on me. So I might break bits of it, but I am sure that it won't, snap and go shooting across the room. Unless I've done something incredibly stupid. Go. Ow. Where are we now? I keep grabbing my mouse. 8. Okay, so now I will do that. Now we're looking at... Oops, up. Down. There we go. Step 9. Oh boy. Okay, let's zoom this back out a little bit. So step 9... Using my rock again. Appears to be... I'll just set this chunk aside for now. A, B, C, D, E. Uh-oh. Oh boy. E5. So these... It's the faux flame on the inside of the lamp, I think. I didn't think about this build early enough yesterday to actually remember to scan open it up and scan the quote-unquote finished picture, and there isn't. Well, maybe there's one. Yeah, I should have scanned the picture on the box so I could have it in the corner of the frame for you guys. But, didn't think about that. You can breathe now. Samples are now soaking. We have a test that simulates the weathering of rock. Oh, that's cool. So, how does it actually simulate the weathering in terms of, I guess, you speed? Like, I assume you soak it. And then, how do you deal with the abrasion elements of rock weathering? Because that's the one that I'm not sure how you do it. I guess you could sandblast it, in a way. Which is sort of like wind and rock. Really, I mean, that's kind of what it is, technically. So 1, 2, how many do we have? 6, I'm assuming? Yes. Of course there is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh. 1, 2, oh, there's 3. Oh, I got it. Okay. There's 6 E5s. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why do I have 2 extras? I really hope they don't think I'm going to break them. Maybe that's what it is. But there's only 6 of them. 1, 2. I have to soak for 16, 18 hours, then oven during the day, and back to soak before I leave. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. That has to do with, water pressure. And steam pressure. So, like, if, yeah. In some environments, I can see that, particularly in desert parts of the country, where things are warm enough under the sun to be sort of oven-esque, in slow motion, of course, during the day, but then cold enough for condensation and rain and whatnot to soak things at night. Then, yeah, you can have internal weathering that way, which can cause expansion and contraction, cracking. I can totally follow that. 4, 5, 6. I'm going to only take 6. I'm hoping that there's another step later on that has 2 more, but if not, hey, I got extras in case I broke something, which I don't want to look to see if that's why there's extras, because if I think I've only got the right number of pieces, I'm going to try much harder not to break things. Okay, the other part, it says E4, these little circles, I need 3 of them, and they give me 4. So once again, I'm hoping it's just because they actually need that many, not that they gave me extras in case I broke things. We'll find out. Abrasion's done in an LA abrasion, in an LA abrasion machine, similar to a Rocktown, but much bigger. Cool. That actually sounds really neat. 1, 2, 3. At least these 3 go in the 3 slots. Alright. They don't seem to have a top or a bottom to them, so I'm hoping I get it right. And I'm kind of wondering how I should do this. Once I get the 3 in, maybe in this case I'll work my way around the side, putting the other braces on. Because if I put the pieces in opposites like I did before, it'll give me a place to press, but I'm a little concerned about stability. I don't know. Yeah, they're not quite straight / level, because the slots are actually good sized in this one. Really loud. Oh, well, yeah, I can imagine. Kind of funny, though. I mean, it's interesting to see what companies put their emphasis on when designing machines like that. My high school and compared to our university, they both, of course, have autoclave machines, and sonic cleaners and stuff for the various different tools and things that are classroom sets. The high school one was really, really noisy. And the university one, by comparison, was so much quieter. And I'm fairly certain my sensitivity to the sound did not change. Yeah. I think I'll do the opposites like we did before, just a little bit, so that we've got some stability to these, because the pieces are wiggling up and down a bit. So, but it's just interesting to see what different companies choose to focus on when they build these machines. But also, there is something to be said for, like, affordability. I'm not saying they want to make them cheap or anything silly like that, but that sometimes when you look at the more expensive models, part of what they're more expensive for is they have better exterior sound dampening for what is going on the inside. Ah. Okay. Yeah, that I did that weirdly. That explains a lot. Come on. Okay, maybe not there. I keep snapping these things back out of place every time I try to move them. Come on, don't break. Please, thank you. It feels like they're solid, but they're not as solidly put in as some of the earlier pieces, so I don't have as much ability to press on them. On the other hand, I mean, it sounds like your machine is big enough that unlike some of the, home grade rock tumblers, you don't have to worry about it vibrating itself off its base, because that's another one of those home grade rock tumbler problems. First world problems of rock tumbler enthusiasts. There you go. I got a geological friend of ours via Scouts who is also into rock tumbling and whatever, and hunting and you name it. This guy's into just about everything. Actually, yeah, that guy's into just about everything. And then we got another guy who's into it as well, who keeps showing up at the rock and lapidary shows. But anyways, the point being that he's told us a few times about some of the home units he's had where he missed somehow over the balancing process when he was tumbling some of his rocks. He missed, so it very slowly rocked itself right off the table. The whole thing just vibrated right off the table. Oh yeah, I can imagine. Because you need the vibration and stuff to be actually happening to the materials inside to help with the I guess you'd say materials removals process from your sample.
The conversation after the ads are over. Thank you for supporting the stream.
Thanks, Tom Holland. Yay, Spider-Man. That's my MCU nod, because, I don't know, everybody and their dog at DC's streams talks about MCU from time to time. These cog things in the center. Whoa, I'm moving my look again. Bumped it. These cog things in the center are great until you press your thumb up against them for too long. And then it feels like it's digging into your hand. That's okay. So for those of you that heard me earlier complaining, it's not really a complaint per se, but there's a game out there called Heave Ho. And Dadcraft73 has definitely played it, and played it with Pigglesworth and Zloy XP, and I'm not sure what version they were playing, whether it was, I'm assuming it was computer, because that just seems to make sense, but in any case, since none of the three of them live in the same city, but we bought it on the Switch, and in Canadian it was probably $13 or something like that, not 12, yeah, just about $13. And we bought it and gave it a go. And we quite like the game. It's definitely a very No problem, Mike. It's a very, what do we call it? Interesting game. I like the game mechanics. We do have some good chuckles over it and whatnot, and I'm terrible at it, etc. But I totally understand when Dadcraft and crew were saying, yeah, my hands hurt, and there's laughing about it, but it hurts. Just because your fingers get tired, it's part of it, right? But on the Switch, I'd say it's even worse, because my hands are just the right size to have the Pro Controller, or not the Pro Controller, the Switch things, where your fingers are getting tired on the one end, and then you're bracing so hard because you don't want to let go, that the other end of it presses into the palm of your hand. But if you run your finger across the palm of your hand in the middle, you can feel the tendons there. So I was pressing on that as well, and then so for about a week it hurt almost all the way up into my elbows, just being sore. I will definitely agree to play the game again. When I played the second time with the kids, I actually used the little teeny Pro Controller sideways, kind of like they show you if you only have two and you want to have play with a friend. So you use it a little bit like an old-fashioned NES controller, I guess, the little rectangular ones. And when I did that, it was much better because it did press in my hands, but I was able to wrap around a little bit better. So it comes out tiny, like that size more or less, size and shape, as opposed to pressing in here. And much, much better, but the fingers are still tired, And I got to the point where I had little rectangular dents from the top of the buttons because I was pressing so hard at times. The resulting actually effect, though, is because you get slightly sweaty hands when you're nervous. Apparently I get oily fingers when I do that, too. I don't know how that works, but in any case, that's what was happening. So part of the reason that I had to do this pressing so hard turned out to be that because my hands were sweaty, they became very slightly sticky. I don't know how that works. And so when I lifted a finger up or wriggled a little bit just to try and not take my finger pressure off and yet, relax the finger a little bit, by being slightly sticky, they actually would pull the button with me. Not badly so, just a little bit. Same sort of thing that if you're playing a video game with your mouse, and I don't know how many people here are mouse and keyboard people, I haven't done it much in Minecraft, but in some other games, where if you've been playing for a while and your hand gets sweaty, then if you lift your fingers off the buttons, the mouse buttons, I find particularly the right hand mouse button, which I use my middle finger on, it'll actually pull and then spring back. Of course, it comes off. And so it makes a little bit of a sound, kind of like when you just barely trigger or flick the spring door stops. So it kind of has a bit of a sound like that. You can hear the spring vibrating. And so I suspect that's what was going on with the Switch, but it definitely made things complicated because it would insist on the buttons coming up when I just wanted to relax my finger. So then, therefore, I'd be squeezing a little more frequently. Okay, we got this one, I think. Let's hope there's another step that says, hey, you did it right. I like the attaboy steps. I mean, that feels good. We're on page 2 anyway. Oh, not quite. Okay, so now we're doing the one above the rock. And it has a 3. Okay. This looks like a light bulb when it's kind of done this way. That's neat. Okay, A3. C, B, E, A3, this monstrous one here. No, it's A2. A3, this little tiny one. I have to read. As I said earlier, because the pieces are not as flexy, then I think we're actually doing a little better with this project than we did with the Metal Earth, because it's not quite so small and fiddly. And it's not Gundam-ish, although there is something to be said for the snap together kits that Fantastic Dadcraft 73 was doing. Yes, I know, I slipped that. Reminds you a little bit of the racing car kits that Fantastic Sherlock Fox has in storage, or that I used to do as a kid. Except I helped my brother instead with his Star Trek ship, actually. And they're the glue together variety, but I actually like the press ones. They are really, really nice. Okay, so we've got, this is kind of fussy. You can see we've got some little square holes in between little leaves, and I'm pretty sure the picture is saying we need to put them in the inner holes. That seems to be what it wants to light up for, which is going to be interesting. I still haven't seen where those other two go, so I'm really hoping that they aren't just because they thought I'd break something. If it turns out that is the case, yay! Good on me at that point. But can't prove it. Can't prove it. It's like the old Bart Simpson quote. I didn't do it, nobody saw me do it, can't prove anything, right? It's funny because if Simpsons were made today, that line wouldn't really exist. Ah! Shoot. I had part of it in, and then I rocked the system enough that they popped out again. Yeah, I don't think that line would exist today because there's so much of people using their phones to basically record everything and record the world. So, I mean, the phrase has become, in essence, pictures or didn't happen, right? And part of the reason that works as a phrase is partly because at one time it was such a pain in the neck. Ugh. Really? Come on. Such a pain in the neck to edit photos such that they were faked. That you could actually say, yeah, proof, it works. But today, editing photos is so crazy simple. It still takes time, but it's crazy simple by comparison. Okay, this one doesn't want to go in. Which is weird because the other two, the other three, whatever, these ones don't want to reach until that one goes in. Come on, let's get the bottom. Yeah. Huh. Okay, well I can press this on the table. There we go. Oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that. Didn't hear it. I saw it. Okay, now I know why we have extras. Let's hope I don't need to use them. Come on. Lantern, please. There we go. I shouldn't have to say please to wood. Like the Beatles. Please, please me, oh yeah. Except, not quite the same. There we go. Maybe? Maybe? Yep, that's exactly why they included extras. Question is how to actually get it. So it snapped at the top because, or in the middle, I guess, here. You can see it's broken. That doesn't look good. The reason it slipped is because the other one pieces are starting to go in successfully, but this one doesn't want to, so the pressure made it come off. I'm just trying to see, can I get this bottom piece to go in? In which case, yeah, okay then. I can realign these, and maybe we don't have to glue them, or replace them. Okay, I think we can get away with it. Because it's not a load-bearing piece aside from this sort of thing here, so I think we're okay. I'm just worried about breaking more of them if I try to pull that off and replace it. Okay, let's go with it. You can't really tell. Yeah, there you go. It's like those Japanese bowls, right? Where they got broken and then they get fixed with molten gold to glue it all back together. And then it's improved for it, right? There you go. You can't see it. Well, close enough. Alright, so our over here now, this one goes on top of this mess down here. Okay. Let's hope I can get that to work. I know it's 11, sorry. It's an hour, oh boy. Hour and 27 into my official stream time. And I do know that on Mondays, our community and friends communities do have stream time collisions with us. So if you are not multi-parked, you probably should be. There's some really good ones out there right now. I'm not sure who just went live. I saw a thing out of the corner of my eye. But there's definitely some people available. Not always the case, but sometimes. We used to have a string of people on the Diecraft 73 community, so the Streamcraft crew, that would just, we had a schedule, well, there was hey, we got another one of the attaboys. There's a question mark, or check mark. This thing. Alright, we had a schedule that was very full, and everybody was all stressed out about not stepping on each other's toes and whatnot. And then we just kind of threw caution to the winds and said, nah, who cares? Glide with me, go for it. And 99% of the time, that's cool. I totally agree with that. There's times where, truth be told, I have the opposite effect opinion, where it becomes, yeah, that's great for you. I feel guilty if I do it to others. So people are welcome to collide with me, but I feel guilty with making the decision to collide with them. I'm still fighting a cold, so I'm afraid you guys are welcome to hydrate, but that is more for you guys this time than me, just because I do need to drink rather freely at the moment, just for fighting off this cold. Okay, so this step above the rock, it's difficult to see because, you know, zoom, autofocus is a little sketchy. Let's see if we can trigger it. Anti-flicker, anti-blah, blah, blah, blah. Nope, not today. Why is it being dumb? It used to have an autofocus manual focus thing, now it won't. Because the software updated, so I suspect it's just assuming that we are autofocusing unless otherwise told, I guess? I don't know. That's really kind of bizarre. Okay, well, whatever. We'll go with that. But it wants, let's see, D4. These ones. And C1. Which is... B1, it's these ones. Very similar. Times 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 7 again, so I'm once again wondering if they think I'm going to break something. Hey, if I don't break it any worse than I did the last time, we're in good shape. Yeah, so we need to do 6 of these puppies. I'm just going to drop them. Oop, drop a mess there. 1, 2. And I know I hit the mic. Apologies for that. 3. I am definitely going to be doing Minecraft this week on Wednesday. Thursday, I have a field trip volunteer position thing with my daughter's school. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, and I assume she's going to be better for it, but that's one of the things about volunteering, particularly when we have a parent who theoretically can be at home, is that unless my husband has to go into the office, I'm kind of still on the hook for the volunteering, even if my daughter can't make it, just because the school's counting on us. Right? They need these volunteers. They actually sent out a, oh, please help me email earlier this week. Because there's 2 field trips this week, and therefore on each of them there's short 1 to 2 volunteers. I think that was after my volunteer offer on Thursday. So what I'm saying here is we're definitely going to be down a stream this week, at least 1. But if we're going to be down, like if I suddenly find out by the end of day tomorrow that they need an emergency fill on Wednesday because I am a stay-at-home parent and don't work outside the house, then I will definitely fill in for the other position if they need me to. That kind of helping thing is just part of what I do, as in that's part of who I am. But that said, as far as you guys go, I will try and give you guys as much notice as I can. It's the no news is good news, as in there'll be some sort of crazy stream. It'll be Minecraft if it's Wednesday. But Thursday, definitely I will put out reminders and stuff in advance that I am pretty sure I will not be here. 1, 2. So that's part of why we're doing it. The other reason I was going to do modded Minecraft, the Dadcraft 73 server, so they've got Ocean Block and or Ocean Block 2, I guess. I'm willing to give it a go because this concept of Ocean Block to me is relatively new, meaning, like I think it was Dadcraft that did one series on it, and I think I can handle that. The notion of ocean is fine because you fall in the ocean, I mean, some of the games will have the ocean be poisonous, so psychologically that's not a whole lot different, but I can't do Skyblock. Like, I guess in theory, I could do Skyblock once somebody else has made the platform huge and they've, you know, put in safety rails or something all over the place. But generally, I can't do Skyblock. Even just the way... Sometimes the coloring of the light of the world is different, but I have huge anxiety about the void. It's like those people who suggest, hey, with, you know, either with XYZ mod or with the way that the game seems to give you almost everything these days, you could survive in the end. And, no. Not that I can't, it's just being in the void gives me stress that I just don't need. And so, I can't do that, but Ocean Block, I think I can because it's not looking at the same horizon. 1, 2, 3, 4. With Ocean Block, you at least have the ocean as a surface or a horizon, even if it's something that's still dangerous to you and you can't be there. It's not the same sort of feel as falling into the void forever. Part of me, it sounds dumb, but part of me treats it a little bit like the old Myst game. Where the old Myst Riven and whatever puzzle game series from Cyan Worlds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Where there's one of the scenes in the game actually has you jumping into a void and falling and falling and falling until your character blacks out. And then they show you the cutscene part of it. And that scene I'm fine with, mostly, because I know that I don't actually have to have any interaction. It's part of the game, you're supposed to do that, etc. But when you fall into the game in Minecraft, I can't get my brain to think about that in such a safe way. It's awfully anxiety-inducing. Okay, so 1d4 from this pile out front, and 1 C1 from the pile out back, and they look like they sandwich together. Opposite directions, okay. So I think we're going like this. That doesn't look that bad. So I can see why they gave us a spare set of each, but I'm hoping I don't need them. There's 1. But yeah, so that's the plan. The reason I didn't do Ocean Block today was partly because I wanted to do something hands-on. Mondays are great for hands-on because somehow letting my hands do stuff helps aid with my ability to focus. It's not exactly the whole, like, must stimulate rocking back and forth or whatever, although that does seem to help my focus. I don't do those things. That's not my thing, but I mean as in, like, fidget toys and stuff are my deal. Oops, this way. Yeah. Fidget toys and stuff are my deal, but they're not required. It does help. So that's part of why Mondays tend to be more hands-on stuff. But also that, frankly put, I was tired last night and didn't think about it till like 1:30 in the morning when I should have been going to bed, going, oh, I haven't downloaded the mod pack yet, nor test fired it to see if anything's actually going to crash, nor looked at the pack specifically to see if it needs additional optimization mods so that I can handle it plus streaming. Because frequently I can use the pack as is, but if sometimes it helps to have optimization mods to make things run a little bit smoother so I can handle OBS at the same time. So I can, we'll just have to see what comes up.
Back quote.
Oh. Okay, I'm going to clear that one. And we'll rerun that one again. Give me a split sec. Action fuse. Thank you.
Hey Riley,
That's a useful
I'll
one.
give you $5
No idea what
if you
happened there. I'll have
try
to check that.
blank.
Do I have time? Could throw myself a sticky. We'll see what happens here. Sticky notes. Take a note. Okay. 8, 8, 8. I wrote myself a note. Sorry for slipping to the side. That's where I put my keyboard temporarily. On another chair. Okay. This one. I missed the voice because it's one of those things I need to do is, once again, deal with the mic duck. I'm reading this for myself here. Hey Riley, I'll give you $5 if you try blank. Ha ha. That doesn't look right.
Hey Riley, I'll give you $5 if you try blank. Fantastic Sherlock Fox says, licking that frozen
that does
pole.
not. Ah. We're using the correct pieces. Wow. Hey Riley, I'll give you $5 if you try licking that pole. I need to deal with the sound so I can hear the voice saying things because I'm going to repeat them to you guys and that's not what you guys need. It's a bad habit. From before I had voice. Curiosity's sake, I would be interested if somebody wants to either DM me or tell me in Discord, their choice. Just some feedback a little bit on what you think of the various voices we've got. And it's not just do you like them, hate them, etc. I mean as in one service versus the other, like say when Oswin used to announce the ads versus when we've got Tom Holland doing it from Tangia with the little blurb all across the bottom of the screen. I'm just looking to try and consolidate because that way I know who to put more effort into making sure we hear versus which service is maybe not as useful because I can turn things on and turn things off. Okay, so now that we've got these polls, they want them to go into E1. E1, okay. Oops. So E1 is this one here. It's a big one, thankfully. There we go, double check. Yeah, E1. All right, and which way up? They want the rounded edges to go to the bottom, pointy ones up top. Okay, I guess I can handle that. Yeah. Oh, all the way through. Okay. Wonder how this is going to work. We got that. Very interesting tense song. Of feline nature. I don't know any cat that ever made me feel like that. Sure, whatever. I think if they're wondering, I think they're referring to me having a feline nature, which, maybe? I don't know. Kinda catty? If it's anything, I'd be more like a leopard. One of those big-ass, big loner cats. Excuse the slip in the family-friendly language. Come on. You can do it. There we go. All right. 2. It looks like we're probably not going to get all this done in one day, but we're close enough. Actually, do we have stuff on the back? Oh, we have stuff on the back. Okay. So, we're probably just getting 2 weeks out of this, maybe? That's interesting. Didn't expect to, but this one, come on. Okay, it wants to come apart now. Let's go. Let's go. One, 2. I'm surprised. I quite like these kits. And Fantastic Sherlock Fox knows, we do, actually both know, where like some of the malls that have similar ones, I don't think I've seen this kit, but some of the stores in our local malls have somewhat similar kits that make all sorts of things, like jewelry boxes and not jewelry boxes, sorry, music boxes and little mechanical things and stuff, which suggests then that if I need a break from Lego, then I can probably do some of these because pricing is probably a little bit cheaper, but they're very different, very neat. I know Fantastic Sherlock Fox has one that he got gifted that has not been built yet. I think it's a couple years old. And if it doesn't end up on his to-do list at some point, it may end up on mine, even if it's his block. It's one of the great things about being a couple, is sometimes we can do things for each other. That sounds weird, but like as in, if I got the joy out of the build, but then he gets the joy out of the display, it works. There's other times where it's vice versa, as in he'll put something together and I'll enjoy it. Another thing I've seen is there's lovely sets of kit cards available, like the press-out plastic sets of kit cards available as 3D printables. And because we actually own a printer that can do decent enough quality to make those sorts of things viable, then I could look at something like that. I mean, now it sort of breaks my theme, as in like I'm very much a Harry Potter themed person. However, that said, if something neat comes along, like this is super neat, then I am definitely all over this like a dirty shirt, you know? Love it. One of my few regrets about 3D printing, and I generally like it, and I love the possibility, even potentially more so than laser cutting, I guess my sort of thing about it, is C3, we 24 of them, oh boy. 1, 2, page 3, oh, okay, those. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, it's these things. A 4, okay. So they're putting 4 of these little discs on the bottom of each of those posts. That's what's going on here. But one of my differences, I guess, or dislikes about 3D printing is just that, oh, come on, there we go. Is that there's so much trash, right? When you think about it, we've actually made some pretty great strides in commercial plastics when we can have, you know, household food packaging or household bottles for chemicals and whatnot, or drinks or whatever. That's actually supposedly recyclable. Now, debatable whether or not it actually gets used. That's a whole different argument for another day, and I'm not necessarily super fussy about that. I mean, the idea is it's there. If the industry doesn't use it and I've done my end of things, then I'm not necessarily sure I'm super fussed about it. I should be, but hey, my greenery only goes so far before it becomes, you know, too many mental burdens. First world problems and all that. But the thing about 3D printing is, yes, we can make things for cheaper. We can make whatever our brains want to dream up. The issue being going the other way, that it's an awful lot of garbage. Both what people joke as the printer poop, so the offcuts, I guess, when you're using a multi-material system to change colors, because it has to clean the nozzle before it prints the next color. Now, there are some different printer companies who approach this in different ways. But they approach it in different ways, being... Oh, not that. I don't want to zoom. I want to drag what I'm doing. This one. To this direction. Oh, no, that'll work. So, the printer mess is one of those things that I really would like to see recyclable, but also some of the projects people make are limited use, whether it be actually designed as a one-use item, or whether it be designed as a multi-use item, but maybe it's a toy or something that either breaks eventually through wear and tear, or you know, your kid gets tired of it, or whatever all else. I mean, it could even be some of the stuff, like some PETG plastics can be printed as outdoor yard projects, and some of those outdoor yard projects eventually, they're supposed to be more sun resistant in PETG, but they will eventually bleach and disintegrate a little bit, in which case you may want to replace them and trash the old ones. So I'm looking forward to the period where this becomes a bit more environmentally friendly is not the word, but that's really what it boils down to. Stable, I guess. I have a suspicion they're giving me extras, but I'm not entirely sure, so I should probably pause to count. Let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. Yeah, we have 2 extras. Come on. Come on. There we go. So, I'm looking at... There's a couple of videos that I've seen lately that I have yet to watch, but they're working on trying to find an economical, in this case, home recycling system for dealing with your printer garbage. And it involves a shredder, and then a melting system, and then an extruding system, which I have a suspicion some of it is actually, in the designs I've seen on the thumbnails, looks like their system is being built out of additional printer parts. Because I guess, like, if you don't have an intention to, to print from this setup, like directly, I mean, then I suppose you could probably use like an old print head to melt your junk. Once you've got it shredded up into small enough bits, it'll actually fit down the tubes. But I'm pretty sure it's probably more involved than that, because that sounds too simple of a concept. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 21, 2. Yeah, that's gonna be a few edges. Come on. These? Okay, maybe this one. There we go. So that's my biggest complaint with it is that while, you know, technology has moved on, like we can recycle a lot of the commercial stuff, but we can't necessarily recycle as much of the home printed stuff. So I guess there's, you know, we save a buck, but then there's the ugly side of it. So I don't know what I really think of that. But where I was going with this was, you know, we got the kit cards, but then there'd be the plastic waste, right? Both in making them and in tossing it later. Or failed prints. There's another one. Failed prints is a big one, actually. So they want 4 of these little discs on the bottom of each of these legs. Like, it's like they're little nuts to hold things on, I guess. I'm sure it's decorative as well. Come on. So we've got 10 minutes to put some of these on. I don't know if we're going to get them all on today. Unlikely. But at least this step is one that if I don't finish it all on camera, I will finish this step off camera, just because it's a step that a lot of these little discs could be misplaced and lost in my office here. It's a bit messy. Come on. Once again, I'm sure that once I get the first disc on, it's going to hold the leg and hold the pieces, and on it goes. Okay, well, if that one doesn't want to cooperate, maybe I should try another one on a... Oh, there we go. I'm going to try another one on a different leg. It's almost like you threaten it and it cooperates. Okay. Nope, maybe not. Hey, you. Come here. Yeah, it's pushing the leg part back out. Come on. Okay, well, this one's holding successfully, so I'm just going to keep wanting to just like force it and try it and whatever, but I think I should move on. See if we can get another one started and then come back to this one, because this could just be a particularly sticky one. The song style's changed suddenly, and I was trying to figure out what on earth this new one was called. And the song is called Softly Sway, which is, I'm thinking of doing anything but while I'm trying to work on this. There we go. This one, yeah, so that cooperates much nicer. 1. Oh, extra edges. Go. Two. Oh, I don't want slivers. 2. 3. Hello. 4. Okay. Huh. Are you going to cooperate now? Nope. This particular one is just tight. That's could be this disc. Disc. Okay. A different one. Yep, it's the disc. One. 2. Can we count to 4? I can only count to 4. Yeah. So there's part of my constant grumbling about the channel, and I love doing this, by the way, is one of the things is my ADHD brain likes change. That drives Fantastic Sherlock Fox nuts, but I mean, some other neurotypes just don't necessarily think the same. And so I keep talking about change, but also excitement, jumps, you know, that sort of thing can be helpful, useful, desired, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, something like that. So that's why I'm constantly saying, hey, what am I going to change this week? What am I going to do this, that, or whatever. But also looking for, you know, adjustments. And I watched some of the other streams, even daytime ones. And some are really... It's not just the numbers hopping, like the activity is hopping. And that's cool. I feel like some days I'm the, what do you call it? The spa. I know it sounds weird. I'm not much of a spa per se, because that's somewhat ASMR-ish. But I mean, stayed calm, relaxed by comparison. And so that's where some of this stuff is coming from. So I don't intend to make a whole ton of changes all at once. You know, no need to have any expectations in that direction. But there may be, as I find things, some changes now and then. And that's partly just because I need it in my head. My brain goes, it's the same as it was before. And it doesn't change things materially. God. It's trying to separate the main pole now, which is not good. Anyway, so I'm always keeping my eyes peeled for things. And sometimes when stuff gets stuck in my head, it'll actually be clips or songs or whatever used on other streamers' channels. And I don't intend to copy them. But there's days my brain goes, yeah, but the excitement that triggered that thing over there doesn't work here. And so then the next part of me goes, well, why? And it becomes a puzzle, because you guys are aware I like puzzles. And I can be a bit of a dog on a bone with puzzles of sorts. I don't mean jigsaws, although those are cool too. I mean as in more of a mystery to figure out, that type of puzzle. And stuff like this, I enjoy these. So it's just that thing that I start thinking about, and then my brain just goes, yeah, you're going to be hyper-focused on this, or hyper-fixated with this idea for a while. It's like, yeah, well, thanks. I really don't need that right now. We have other things to do. Come on. But, excuse me. The randomness of that impression saying, hey, you got to do X or Y thing to mix it up a little. Does happen, and it's just, so it's more of a heads up, I guess. You know, we also are aware that things randomly remind me of other things, and oddly enough, the texture of this wood in the side, as I'm seeing it, just the way it reflects in the light I've got going, reminds me a bit of mushrooms. Like the top of, say, a shiitake mushroom, or some other type of more earthy mushroom, or like a dark brown mushroom. Just reminds me of that. So now I'm thinking mushrooms and going, I think it's just because I'm hungry a little bit. Not badly so, just I didn't grab a snack bar before I started. And mushrooms are yummy, but then also my brain goes, well, yeah, even if you had breakfast, you'd still want it, because mushrooms, like celery, are one of those foods that some people joke are negative energy foods. And what I mean by that is that you don't get out of them anywhere near the amount of energy that your body puts into eating it. So some people use that as a justification to not eat the mushrooms and say, yeah, mushrooms are disgusting and they're absolutely useless, and so on. And other ones are saying, well, yeah, but if it's tasty filler that keeps you from eating junk food, go for it. Right? So, but that just reminded me of mushrooms, hence the mushroom tangent. Just being honest about what was stuck in my brain at the time. When you're doing projects like this, it gives your brain a great amount of time to wander, particularly when not much is going on in the rest of the stream to respond to, which is totally cool. I'm good with that, but just the resulting effect is you guys get more of my tangents. The way life goes, right? It's kind of like, I don't know. Is anybody from the 80s and 90s remember a TV show, game show? I'm hoping it was a North American wide thing, but a show called Talk About, where contestants would have a certain amount of time, like a minute I think it was, to talk about a given topic. And I can't recall whether or not it was one where they had to get their opposing player to guess what they're talking about, or whether it was just they had to talk about that topic for a period. I think it was just more opposing player. But in any case, yeah, the host would have two people, I think, facing each other, and Actually, or the other version I'd seen was something that had keywords that the person talking about stuff didn't know, and if you mention the keywords along the way. Yeah, that's the one. So it's sort of like, for those of you that are aware of the Family Feud board, which is made into memes and such, talk about, if I remember correctly, it was more like that, where the person would be given a subject, they have to talk about that subject for a set number of minutes, or, well, seconds, I think it was. And then, over that course of time, if they said one of the keywords, it would show up on the board, and for however many of the keywords about that subject they had said, they get points. I think that's how it went. And, ooh! So sort of the reverse of the home game taboo, where you can't say things. This one is, you don't know what the keywords are, and you are supposed to try to say them. But anyway, that's sort of how the rants in my brain operate at times, is it's almost like I've got a little show host in there saying, yeah, nothing to respond at the moment, you're going to talk about this. Even if it seems utterly random. And it may not actually be, because there's probably about 6 degrees of whatever the heck I was thinking about that went that far, or more. It's like a ping pong game. They all have connections. But we'll get to a topic and be like, yeah, you're going to talk about that. On the other hand, see, here's the thing. Part of the reason I was even aware of some of these, pre-grade 3, I think. So, would have been in the 80s then, I suppose. I remember bad t-shirts and so on. Grade 3 and down, I think. Yes, I was, after school I'd go to a Sitters across the road from my parents' place, because my parents had to work. And the sitter, unfortunately, was disabled. Like, had a prosthetic leg, I think, on one side from the knee down. So anyways, one of the things she'd do in an afternoon after school is she'd get a kick out of watching, like, she'd watch her soaps and stuff while we were at school. Then we came home, it was all about the game shows. So 3:30 would hit around and we'd have, flip on the TV and we have some sort of channels of game shows. So that's where partly I started developing my love of watching some game shows and sort of trying to play along. Although Talk About was not one I'd play along, but I would try and guess some of the words. It's a lot easier when you have the ability later on, in streaming television, to pause things. So Fantastic Sherlock Fox and I occasionally will still play the British game Countdown, which you guys have seen is somewhat integrated into the stream. But what we would often do is, we can't do it within the 30 seconds they give TV show people. I mean, we'll often let it run that period while we're trying, but we'll pause it and see what we can get for the numbers games. For the letters games, we can frequently handle it. Now this is the top of the hour. We've just hit a new step, which seems disconnected from the previous one. So I think we're going to leave it here. We have multiple sets of pieces to deal with. Let's see, 3, 4, 5. And they go in the middle of the pile. Okay. So I'm just going to zoom out and show you so far what we've gotten. And we'll go back to that countdown chat another day, because it's not important. Go out here. That'll do. Alright, so what we are trying to make in the end of the day, come on, hitting cables all over the place. We are trying to make this, the lantern. So what we've got ourselves so far is a bottom, which I believe that little yellow dot we showed stuck in the glue is our LED. And then it's going to need a battery. And then we've got a section that's going to go in the center that looks like our fake flame, more or less. And then we've got, which is a strange way to design the flame, but that's okay. Then we've got this frame, which I believe is going to get a couple more supports in between these sets of 4 discs and then end up on top of the base. We're actually making some pretty good progress. We're on the bottom section of, in essence, page 3, I guess 2.5, depending on your point of view of the directions. And that's actually working fairly well. So, in the meantime, though, because our history started out with, what's the word I was looking for? Oh, well, that's not helpful. Okay, this one. Here we go. Live. Yeah, because our channel started mostly with Minecraft, we're probably going to head back there again. That's what we're known for. So let's see who's live right now. Yeah, okay, so we've got, of the ones I follow, we've got Jade is probably our best bet. Maribel Jade. It's material gathering day because she feels like a zombie. That's part of why I wasn't playing today. Or we can see some Stardew Valley with the Red Wolf. Or we've got Lego News with marbles on stream with the local brick shop. I think we're gonna go Jade. That's our best bet. So let's get that raid started to Jade, and then we'll say our official chows, I suppose. Buttons. Do I have button? Yes. Button. Ooh.
Mischief managed.
Mischief managed, indeed. So thank you everybody for hanging out today. I appreciate those that were able to stick around and those that dropped in and dropped out and had things to do. Always welcome. Wednesday we will be doing Minecraft. That's the plan. Yeah. That's interesting. So, in other case, thank you everybody for dropping by. We had some great conversation from Fantastic Sherlock Fox and from Creef and Mike Burton and Gary. So, it was fun to work on this project. It was good to get a good start on it. And I'm looking forward to continuing. So, until next week, this one is shelved for now, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Have yourselves a great day, and bye-bye for now.
Transfer complete.